Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Q&A podcast bi-week edition on Inside the Birds platform YouTube channel. Thank you to everyone that is tuning in near and far. I'm Jason Avant, one of your hosts. I'm here with my main man, Quintin Mikell. Say what's up to the people, Q.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be back. Great to see you as always, Jay. I love to smile,
Sir.
brighten my day. So
yeah, man, we gotta smile out here, be happy. Got the hats back. I said I'm gonna be like my man Q and turn my hat backwards. You know what I mean? I gotta get those backward hat liking
the
ladies
old
to
school.
to tune in. See,
Yeah.
check your boy out. You know what I mean? Like, I could
I
get
see
this
you
angle.
with the little twist on it. Yeah.
Oh, let's do a little housekeeping, Q. We want to say thank you to everyone that is tuning into the show each and every week. Make sure you submit your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com. Again, insidethebirds@gmail.com. Thank you to Tyler, the producer, Jeff, Adam, Josh, everyone that's responsible in the background for the Q&A podcast, the Inside the Birds crew. Also, want to say a big shout out to the Philadelphia Phillies going to the World Series, baby. Going to the World Series. The city is going up. It's crazy. The city of Philadelphia is lit. When you have two teams that are playing as well as the Eagles and the Phillies right now, during the same time of the year, this place is going up. You should have seen our fans, all of the city of Philadelphia fans, climbing grease poles in the city. It's been a great time hanging out at the bars. It's a great time to be in the city of Philadelphia. Just letting you know.
Absolutely, man. I know I'm missing it, man. It's a great time. And and then the Sixers are, they're kind of up and down, but they're starting now. And then the Flyers is pretty good. So it's just all around great to be in the city of Philadelphia, man.
Check it out. I had a friend of mine who's a diehard Kate, diehard baseball fan, but a Phillies fan as well while she's here. And she's in London right now. She's hating her life that she's in London and gray London while the city of Philadelphia is partying crazy. So don't miss out on some of the celebrations here this week. And let's beat the Astros in the World Series, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Bye-week edition, Q. Bye-week edition. Let's talk about a few things. Let's talk about after the bye week, what are the players' practice week? What does it look like? And also, being off from football for a while, how does that affect the team going forward? Just your thoughts.
Yeah, so I can only draw from playing experience. And as you know, Andy, he used to always, I think, except maybe 1, maybe 2 years, when I played, that we have to come in during the week. Most of the time, it was completely off for the entire week, and I'm gonna tell you, man, we needed that.
Yeah,
because if you're a team, especially a veteran team that just eats, dreams, sleeps football, just working your butt off from training camp all the way to that first bye week, you need that entire week to just recuperate and get away from the game, get your mind off of it. So for us, we had them bye weeks. I didn't watch no games on a Sunday. I didn't watch college football. Before we had kids, we would go on vacation. Like, we would just get away from the game, recuperate, get your mind right, and then recharge.
Before you had kids, my kids were out of school during bye week. Bye week was a holiday. Wherever I was going, they was coming. We were going to the Bahamas. We were going to Puerto Rico this year. That was a week of vacation. Seriously. And yes, I went to a place where I purposely couldn't turn on a football game.
Yeah.
The reception was bad. I just knew what time we had to be back. And usually the coaches would stick in the extra practice. Like, so if we had a bye week and we were off from that Sunday after the game until probably the following Sunday, we will be back there Monday for like a small 10-10-10 practice, which is, 30 plays, offense and defense, get 30 plays. And then there's a special teams, the special teams period, right? So you would do that, and then we would be back in the saddle Wednesday. And I don't necessarily think that there was anything that was different. It's just that we were scouting. The scouting department had self scouted us. We took that information, formulated a game plan throughout the rest of the year, and not only does the coaches prepare for the upcoming game, but they take time out to scout the future games as well, so they can always have a tight game plan going forward. So they're not trying to cram everything. The bye week, they'll take 2 days for this, 2 days for that. And part of the reason the team gets better is because they not only look at our future opponents, but they do an inventory on what works, what doesn't work for our team. Let's scrap this play. Let's scrap this formation. They get all the statistics and they come up with a new version of the team during that bye week. So you want to make some adjustments, but you don't have time to during the season. But on a bye week, you make a lot of adjustments that can propel you toward a better season.
Yeah. I always remember them coaches, man, when we started coming back, it was like they missed us, man. I remember Sean McDermott was like, hey, he's texting me on the day before practice, like, Coach, we're still on vacation. He's like, no, man,
like leave me alone,
you guys. It's like, we just been doing all these meetings all day, man. I miss you guys. Let's get back to work. I'm like, no, we chilling.
Yeah, the coaches, that's the thing. The coaches stay there and they go through each player. And this is good for the fans to know. So me being on the coaching side as well as being with the Eagles, and also I knew this when I was a player, the coaches stay the entire week. They may get a day or two off, maybe a day, I think. But they stay there and they evaluate each and every player. Are they playing winning football? Do we need to get someone else in that position in order to challenge that player or replace that player? Also, coaching staff. How are the coaches doing? Right. So they have to give an account and a report to upper management about coaching. And, they have statistics on what percentage of third downs are doing this and which plays work the best in short yardage. All of these things are taking place as we speak. And for the football player, we're out. It's very nerve-wracking time for the coaches because they're looking in the mirror and they're getting chewed out about why their players aren't playing. Now our team is undefeated, so these meetings are being enjoyed with some cigars, some laughs, and some bourbon. But but in normal situation it would be a lot of people getting chewed out as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's hop right into it, Q. This episode will be the fans' questions. We have a few fan questions. We're going to answer those in depth and get out you guys' way. Let you enjoy the rest of the week. All right. First question up, Q. From Tony from Philly Sports Rap. Do you see the NFC East as the best in the NFC conference? And will the Super Bowl be represented by an NFC East team this year?
That's a good question. I think absolutely. I'm trying to pull up my notes right here real quick. So let's talk about have this set to go. Why is this not?
Yeah, I'll talk before you go. So when you consider the best teams in NFC East, you have the Philadelphia Eagles at 6-0. You have the Minnesota Vikings at 5-1.
Yes.
You have the New York Giants at 6-1.
6-1.
You have the Dallas Cowboys at 5-2. Then you have the only 4-win team is the Seattle Seahawks.
4-3,
which is surprising. Geno Smith's Seahawks, right? Kenneth Walker Seahawks. DK Metcalf lists Seahawks right now. They're still winning games.
Yeah.
Surprising. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 3-4, but still winning their division.
That's crazy. As bad and as bad as they look, especially yesterday, I still can't believe they're at the top of the division.
LA Rams 3-3 in the wild card position.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
when you consider the 3 out of the 4 best records, 4 out of the 5 best records in the NFC belong to the NFC East.
that's it. I mean, like I was saying, I mean, the NFC East, like, it's gotta be. I mean, you said the Vikings at 5-1. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm kind of lost right now, but
No,
I'm trying to get my computer to
you're fine.
update with me. But
You're fine. So when you consider what's out there now, I'll always preface this. What I'm going to say is that I believe that the LA Rams are going to get better. I know that the 49ers will get better because their defense is still unbelievable, even though the Chiefs took them to the woodshed this weekend. Tampa Bay, you can't count out Tom, and you can't count out Green Bay, even though they're playing bad right now. So those teams are very, very dangerous. At the top of the NFC are NFC East teams. And does it look like it's going through the NFC East? As of right now, your question or I believe that the answer is yes. I don't believe that there's a team in NFC that can hang with the Eagles as of today. Now, teams are going to get better. The 49ers will get better. And I believe that they'll be one of those teams that nobody wants to play as the playoffs gets going, because you give a guy like Kyle Shanahan a lot of time, and DeMeco Ryans' defense, they're going to get better as the season progresses. And they're built to play in postseason just because how much they can run the football, and how good their defense is when the weather is bad and you can't throw 4 million yards, right? Because the ball doesn't carry the same. Yeah. And your hands are, and the ball is a brick and your hands are cold. Like, they're built to win football games. So I think the Eagles are the class, but I think that there are other teams that are right there. So, but yes, the NFC East is in the driver's seat.
And I'm gonna add, and the other part to that I want to add is that this is very, very similar to when we played, where the NFC East top to bottom was, everybody was good, everybody was winning. And what I remember mostly was in those division games, we ended up basically beating each other to death. Like, there would be so many injuries coming out of each one of those NFC East games that it got to the point where you get to the playoffs, but you're limping into the playoffs. So I do agree the NFC East right now is the top right now, but also, you're hoping that everybody's so good and so physical that you're hoping that it doesn't end up being an issue where you do make it to the playoffs, but now you're beat up and you're one and done in the playoffs. So we definitely got to keep an eye on that as well.
The craziest thing is that you would think that it's the NFC East offense that's producing a lot, but it's really the defense. Offense gets a lot of credit, but the Eagles' defense has been just as good, if not better, than the Eagles' offense. Now, we're surprised because Jalen Hurts' development and A.J. Brown and how good the offensive line is, but the story of the Eagles is the defense. Yes, we get up to big leads, but the defense has literally saved ball games by now allowing teams in the end zone in the second half. Like, that goes a long way. And I think that those defenses, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cowboys defenses are tops in the league, so we have to, make sure that we give the defense the credit for that.
No
doubt. So I think that's a pretty straightforward one.
Okay. All right, so let's go to question 2. This is from Christopher B. He says, who do you guys think should be the priority players to re-sign on defense? I feel that the Eagles should invest less money in the D-line or just use the draft on them and make the secondary the strength of the defense with the money, and then keep who you already have because they seem to work so well together. And then the last part of this question, he's asking about Javon Hargrave, and he's asking, how do we feel he's played? Do we see him in the future?
Well, let's get something straight, right? Let's get something straight out. And we got to understand the history of the Eagles, right? So ever since Coach Reed has been there, they always focus on two sides of the ball. The Eagles have always had a good offensive line.
Yep.
Talking about from Hank Fraley to Marbury to Trey Thomas, Runyon. Jason Peters, Jamal Jackson, Sean
Sean
Andrews.
Andrews.
We've always had a dominant, though, in defensive line. Hugh, Trent, Corey
Curse.
Simon, Mike Pat. We've always had a great offense and defensive line. And that's what the organization has not deviated from in its recent past 20, 25-year history since Jeffrey Lurie's owned the team, that the team has been built on the offense and defensive line. So I don't necessarily know ever while Howie and Jeff is still in the organization that we're ever going to deviate from that plan. It will always be offensive line and defensive line heavy. We're one of the few teams that are still built like this. 42% of our salary cap is allocated to the offense and defensive line. Right? Yep. So when you consider that, that's where we're going to be. Now, let's look at the free agents that are done after this season. Marcus Epps, TJ Edwards, Miles Sanders, Zach Pascal, Boston Scott, Garner Johnson, Andre Dillard, Kaiser White, Seumalo, Bradbury, and Hargrave. Now, you always have to throw in, I always throw in Fletcher because it's an aging contract, and they did renegotiate his contract at the beginning of this season, this season, in order to like free up some dead cap money in the future. But you always got the looming Jason Kelce in retirement and all those types of stuff, right? Yeah. But out of these guys, Marcus Epps, Edwards, Sanders, Zach Pascal, Boston Scott, Garner Johnson, I think that Bradbury is a priority.
Yes.
James Bradbury and the way he's playing, and especially with Darius Slade having that responsibility of covering number ones if it need be, and then him being a dominant number two. We saw him at number one in New York. He was good, but he wasn't a pure number one.
Right. Yep.
But Darius Slade is, and he's a good 1A, 1B. And that combination together has been stellar. And I don't think that you should break that up.
I agree.
Now, young safeties, I think Marcus Epps should get a deal. And I think you're going to be able to get him on a bargain deal, because I don't think that there's a bunch of teams that are going to covet him the way that the Eagles should covet him. Or he's not going to be at the top bracket for safety. So I think that's a priority.
Yep.
And yes, I think the only other one probably would be, I think two others is probably TJ Edwards and Garner Johnson. You got to figure those out. I don't think you let TJ Edwards get out of the building.
Yeah, I agree. I think you definitely need to keep TJ. I like CJ Garner Johnson as well. I think if there in some way can figure out how to bring this entire secondary back for another year, I think they'll be in great shape. For me personally, I think it's very difficult, and the Eagles have not had, besides, I would say, going all the way back to Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown, the Eagles have not had a great haven't had great success drafting cornerbacks, especially early. And in today's NFL, you can find in a free agent, just like we found Bradbury, you can find a free agent secondary player that can come in and give you what you need for a veteran, a young defensive coordinator, a veteran guy that's more experienced, that you don't necessarily have to worry about developing him. So I think that the right way to go, like you said, is keep doing what they're doing, building the offensive line, defensive line, re-sign the players that are young, that can still offer some youth and still have some development left to continue to grow, like TJ Edwards, like you said, CJ Garner Johnson. I love Epps. I agree with you 100%. He's a guy that you can definitely get at a bargain deal. And, this team is young. They're young in key areas on that defense, and they're experienced at key areas, which is also very important. So I think, obviously what you said with Fletcher, that we don't know what's going to happen there, but those guys that we mentioned, that we talked about, are core to this defense moving forward, I think.
And here's the thing. I agree with you. We're like $1.2 million or so that we have available to spend this year. And it just lets you know that we're one of those teams that kind of max out the contract. So signing a lot of players, there has to be a lot of restructuring from some of our veteran players. And then to keep a lot of these players like Miles Sanders. I don't necessarily know if Miles Sanders is going to be back with our team because our offensive line is so good.
Yeah.
And I believe that they're going to feel that they can get value somewhere else besides Miles Sanders. When you consider Kazir White, a very good young linebacker, right? I just don't know if our team is built to pay 2 linebackers. When have we ever paid 2 linebackers?
Barely paid one.
Right. We don't pay one. When was the last one that got paid?
Mark Semino? I don't know.
My
Nate
gosh, that's
Wayne?
long.
Nate Wayne? We
It's
going
probably
back years.
D'Amico, probably.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Miko.
Yeah,
Okay.
but no, I'm pretty sure somebody's gotten paid since then. But we just don't. We just don't. As I said, Malu depth. You got the best offensive line, one of the best offensive line coaches in football. I'm not worried about backup linemen. Hargrave, I don't think that you need him anymore, especially with the way he's played. He's been getting pushed off the ball, and then you got a young Jordan Davis who needs more reps. I don't necessarily think that you're going to need Hargrave going forward in the future. Boston Scott is kind of, I love him as a person, as a player, but when you look at it from an organization standpoint, he's probably expendable too. So you go into this off season with running back on your roster, which they probably will draft one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
it's crazy to think, man. This team's 6-0, and you could be looking at a completely different team next year.
Yeah, you look at a completely different team when you like break everything down. Who didn't we talk about? Andre Dillard, we're expecting him to go.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is going to keep the secondary intact. That's going to be extremely hard because the other money that's out there.
Yeah.
You still got to figure out a way to get Jalen paid. You got to get him paid this at the end of this before the season starts. This upcoming year, so the money doesn't go up. Jalen Hurts, and once that money is out there, the team is going to get bad. And that's the thing that you guys got to recognize is that when you pay a quarterback that much money, look at every team that's paid the quarterback the money that they need or they deserve, right? Yeah. Look at when they paid Matthew Ryan. They was on the clock. Yep. The team went down. And, the Green Bay Packers, they paid Aaron Rodgers. Team goes down. They paid Russell Wilson. The Legion of Boom is gone. Like, this happens to every team that pays the quarterback. The only person that's been free of this is Tom Brady, because Tom Brady is always taking a team-friendly deal that was structured in a way that they can get more players in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That's right. So quarterbacks, stop being selfish, man.
I just think that they need to come up with a new system. And that's just me. I think the quarterbacks should be on their own. They should have their own separate. They shouldn't be a part of the salary cap. I think that they should have a cap, but I don't think that cap should be allocated toward everybody else. That's just the way what I think. I think that if you want to make the NFL better, that the quarterback should be counted outside of the salary cap.
Almost like a franchise tag type of deal.
Yeah,
that's separate from.
That's separate. If you want, but I think that's good for organizations, but I don't necessarily know if it's good for the overall football, because now you keep one team dominant, because if you get the guy and that guy is playing with his own contract and you can always keep good players around, you're going to have dynasties.
Yeah.
But what makes the NFL great is that you do have this juggling of the salary cap, and this team's going to be good for 3 or 4 years, and then they have to retool and get better. And it kind of keeps the competitive balance there. So I don't necessarily know that you can tell a league that's making $11-12 billion a year that this is a bad thing. And so who am I to say that? So there's good and there's bad to it. I know that I would like the quarterback to be on his own, because that leaves more money for the rest of us, baby.
Yeah.
Get some receivers some of that money. Get some of them backup defensive back some of that money. You know what I mean?
I know
Somebody needs
exactly
some
what
of
you
it.
mean,
Giving
man.
all the quarterback. Only
Yeah.
in the NFL can the quarterback have friends like Cristiano Ronaldo and freaking Messi and everybody else. And my friends is Pookie and them still. You know, you got Beverly Hills and you got the hood in the NFL. It's a shame.
Not Pookie now.
I'm messing around.
I love it, man.
All right. You got any more with that one, Q? Oh,
No, that was good,
Hargrave.
man. Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, we kind of
We kind of
tested.
talked on it. Yeah.
We
I
kind
mean,
of tested. But I agree with you getting the secondary back. I think that's priority, and they're going to have to. In order for that to happen, they have to make a big move somewhere.
yeah.
A big move. That's a big move. And
Yeah.
the only big move, the only big moves we have is the offensive defensive line. That's the only big moves we have. And I would go defensive line. So that would mean you got to move somebody that you could potentially want.
Yeah.
And the Eagles were tied to Brian Burns for the Carolina, giving calls down there too. So the Carolina said that they're not going to trade him, but just letting you know, the Eagles are always looking for a move.
Always. I saw they was trying to get in on the McCaffrey sweepstakes.
McCaffrey, ooh.
Now that right there.
We run the ball too.
Ooh.
And Jalen, see, that's what he's gone. So I don't want to like
yeah.
He's gone. He's gone. But winners. You want winners. You want your quarterback to play well and get better quickly. You give him winners. You give him winners on the outside. Goddard's a winner. AJ Brown's a winner. Devontae Smith's a winner. Then you add Christian McCaffrey to it that can win out of the backfield on one-on-one situations. Like when you start giving these teams winners, it's tough. It's tough to compete with.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next one. I ain't gonna go down that road. Mojo is building the sports stock market where you can invest in your favorite players. Invest in what you know. Turn your sports knowledge into real money with Mojo, the sports stock market. Real stats, real value. Sure, entitle you to a guaranteed payout based on career-ending stats. No off days, no off season. Share prices rise and fall constantly in real time based on career-long projections. Cash out anytime, build a portfolio, and buy and sell on your terms every play, every game, or every season. Mojo is available in New Jersey on iOS, and by just downloading the app, you have the chance to win up to 10,000 in free shares of player stock. Click the link in the description for a chance to win up to $10,000 in free shares of player stock. Must be 21 years and older and physically located in New Jersey to trade on Mojo. Have a gambling problem? Help is available at 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, click the link in the description for a chance to win $10,000 in free shares of player stock. Q, let's talk about the Mojo picks, the risers and fallers of this week. Is there anybody that comes to your mind as someone that's on the rise in the player stock market that the fans can get in tune with now, make themselves a little bit of money?
Well, shoot, let's talk about one of my favorites right now, and he's one of your guys from up there in the Michigan area, Kenneth Walker.
Man, don't you be saying he in the Michigan area. He went to Michigan State, but I like him. But he did destroy Michigan single-handedly last year, the Michigan versus Michigan State game, and I hated his guts.
Yeah.
But I do know this. He can tote the rock, baby. He can tote the rock, and he finally got healthy, got an opportunity.
Absolutely. He's got 23 carries for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's trading at $12.02. Yeah, he's plus 11.37%. On the year, he's averaging 6.1 yards a rush. Am I looking at that right? And he's got he had a let's see, not only was he a dominant between tackles, but he was able to run. He was able to turn on the burners and break away from the team with a 74-yard touchdown.
Yeah,
He's definitely one of the risers I like. What about you? What do you think?
no, I think Kenneth Walker is definitely a riser when you consider that they lost DK Metcalf and you consider that they are focusing in on the run game. He's a healthy player now. He was drafted to them to be the workhorse back, and this kid can play. I've seen him play multiple times, and I think that I'm going to put my money on a Geno Smith with a heavy run game with one less star on the outside. They're going to lean on that a lot more. So I think that Kenneth Walker is one of those rising picks that everyone should pay attention to. The other riser that I have is coming from a 6-1 football team. And you know that winning football games give you confidence. Winning football games makes everything better. And it also causes average players to think that they're better than average. So Daniel Jones is on the rise. Danny Dimes is back, baby. Just in this mojo. Now, Eagles fans, I don't care about Danny Dimes, but I will say this. I think that we should put a little money on Danny Dimes going forward because their defense is amazing. Dabo is a great coach. Still rushing the ball for 100 yards and stuff like that. He did it last game, 19-13, 1 touchdown. And their targets are starting to come back. Slayton is coming back. So those are things that will cause his stock to continue to rise. So I like Danny Dimes as well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that one. Danny Dimes he's looking better. I think, like you said, Dabo's really finding the best balance with him. I didn't really realize how athletic he is, man. He gets out in the pocket and he can run pretty well. So I agree with you right there. He's definitely.
You didn't realize he was that. Remember, he tripped down in 1 year. When he was rolling on us.
Yes,
and
very true. I forgot about that.
He was rolling on us and he fell down. He's like, man, I didn't know I was this fast.
All right, let's talk about a couple of fallers. Right now we have here's a big one that we just found out. DK Metcalf is a faller. He was carted off the field during the Seahawks game against the Chargers with a knee injury. The x-rays came back negative, but he's going to undergo some MRIs and determine the extent of the injury. It's not believed to be serious, although they're going to, obviously with a star player of that magnitude, they're going to, be safe, be smart with them. So he's definitely down 8.92%. He had 1 reception for 12 yards and only 2 targets. What are your thoughts on that?
We're starting to realize that maybe Russell Wilson needed DK Metcalf and DK Metcalf needed Russell Wilson because DK Metcalf's production is nowhere near as it was when Russell Wilson was there. And I believe that Geno Smith has found more of a common thread with Tyler Lockett instead of him. So when you consider those things, DK Metcalf stock is going down because he's not performing up to standard that we're used to. Steve Smith Senior says something very, intriguing when he said that Tyler Lockett was the person that Russell Wilson would throw the ball to in critical situations and not DK Metcalf. It kind of made me think back a little bit, but he definitely isn't up right now. Doesn't mean that he can't be up, but I think that's a safe pick. Now, you had something before this that made a ton of sense with James Robinson. James Robinson, the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, got traded to
the New York Jets.
He got traded to the New York Jets, and his stock is falling right now. So his stock is falling before, but now Breece Hall is hurt, whose stock is falling. James Robinson's stock is down, 10% right now. So that may be a chance for people to make some money because he's going to be the feature back in New York. And also Travis Etienne. He's on a rise already, but he's going to be on a rise because he didn't have James Robinson to split carries anymore.
Yep. There's the 2 great tips for you guys from us.
Yeah.
buy low on James Robinson, and then buy low on Etienne before it starts to rise. Boom, there you go.
Bam, mojo. Make sure you guys check it out. The Players Stock Market, great company. Love to see it. Make us a few extra dollars.
There it is. And have fun while you're doing it.
All All right, last question, Q.
This one's great. This one, y'all gotta bear with me.
This dude went back there and found some stuff of me failing. I failed 3 times in my career in 11 years, and I'm answering this question, but I don't mind. But I'm gonna talk to you like this, though.
This is a long one. You could tell that this guy really he's serious about this one.
Yeah,
so
he
this
was mad at me. You could tell that he was pissed. He's like, out of all the players, I feel it.
All right, this is from Mark S. He said, first of all, love the show, guys. You have great chemistry, positive attitudes that shine through. I've been an Eagles fan for about 30 years. I live on the East Coast of Canada. And as a teenager, learning to enjoy watching football, there was one guy that captured my attention, Randall Cunningham. Our very first game in Philly happened to be the return of Donovan McNabb as QB.
I knew where he was going when I read that.
He said all week there was chatter about whether the Philly fans would boo him, yada, 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 and boo him. But he said before he knew it, the Eagles were down 14 points. He said, I'm sure Jason knows where I'm going with this.
He said the last play of the game, Canadian.
The last play of the game, and the ball goes in his way in the end zone. We would have won the game, but the ball somehow goes through his hands. I'd like to know if Jason remembers that game and how he felt afterwards. Man,
yes, I remember the game.
Just twisted.
Does anybody remember the game? I do. I remember every moment of the game. I remember the play call. I remember me switching positions with Jeremy Maclin in that situation in order to get the ball because I wanted it badly. And I remember the ball going through my hands. Yes, I remember. I dreamed about it for about 5 years afterward. How that play could have changed my life. Yes, I remember the play. Yeah, I remember. I remember it being Kevin Cobb, Michael Vick getting hurt early in the game, us fighting back. And I remember making a bunch of plays. I remember going up to attack the ball, no fear, no worry. I jumped up about 12 feet high above everybody else. Those are NFL athletes that are watching that. If you're watching that tape, those are NFL. I jumped higher than them all, which I could. I had like close to 40 inch vertical. But anyhow, that's another point. But I jumped up and I got both hands on the football. And I was so happy. I was like, yes, inside, yes. I forgot to just put these hands into Death Claw Wolverine mode. I forgot to. I was just so surprised that I was able to get up because I came from the back. I wasn't in the middle. I came from the back and I didn't realize that I was going to be able to get that high. And I was like, oh, I got it. And I relaxed. Oh. Just for that moment. And usually in a contested catch situation, I'm going up with all of this already tight. My hands already tight. In that situation, I was just like, just let me get to it. I'm just going to jump high as I could. When the ball hit, it hit low too. So just a coaching point. Like in that situation, the ball missed my fingertips, which is like the most, like you catch the ball with your fingers. Don't catch it with your palms. Don't catch it necessarily with your tips. You catch it with the webs of your fingers. Mm-hmm. It missed that because I was just trying to get position. They were bodying me. There's a bunch of people there, and it hit my palms, and I didn't squeeze. And when the momentum, I was going like this, they were going like that. They were jumping back. I was jumping toward it, and boom. And I cried like a baby, man. That pissed me off. That's the first time in my career that I ever failed. In any level. Wow. At any level. I was always the clutch, free throw shooter, always the clutch hitter. I was always the clutch everything in my entire life. So I had to like reevaluate that, get some counseling, some spiritual healing, called on God. Like I needed to deal with that. And that was that moment, though I remember it, I look back at it and I can accept it because I attacked it. I forgot one small detail in that situation, but I attacked it. And I feel like I won because many times in those situations, I've seen guys, NFL players, shrink and they don't want the ball, or you go in, or you do this. I can tell you this, that I attacked that MF. Like I attacked it. I didn't make it, but that same attitude caused me to make so many other plays. And I refuse to change that attitude. Like I would rather run toward the battle, run in the building with it blazing, than to sit back and worry about what is. And I didn't do one step in that. I learned from it. Matter of fact, that was the same year. And I give you all of my drops. Well, I would say 4 of my drops, like 4 out of the maybe 10 I had in my career, whatever it may have been. 4 or 5 of those came in the same year. That was the year my dad died. That was the year that somebody in my family stole some money from me. Ooh, and I would near all the way. And that's not an excuse in that situation, but I learned a lot from that, how your off the field life have to be like in sync as well. Like I learned from that year, and I never had another year like that. But I had multiple years where I didn't drop a pass, and then I have a year where I dropped 4 or 5 passes. It was crazy. I was like, what in the world is going on? I'm getting old. But yes, I remember it. I remember that. I remember Donovan talking crap. I also remember the next time we played him on Monday night, we beat him by 17 million because I wanted to get that revenge.
Yeah, man, we got our get back.
Yeah, I remember that play. And you know, the truth be told is that I remember every drop. I don't remember every catch, but I remember every drop, and I remember why I dropped it. Because there's a reason. People just catch the ball. There's always a reason. Like I remember one time blinking doing what a ball was coming to me. Like that's just a no-no. You never blink. Like you don't even think about that. Like most people don't even think about that. Like they're just thinking like I'm just living. Like no, no, I'm just living my life. You blink sometimes. No, in the football field, when the ball is thrown, you don't blink.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, you don't even like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Well, they train us as DBs. That's what we look for.
Yeah.
When we're looking at your eyes,
like a smoker.
When their eyes get like that, okay, the ball coming.
Yeah. When that ball is thrown in the air, like you doing your thing when that ball is thrown in the air, your eyes are open like a smoker, like you got some crack. You got there like this. Like, you know what I mean? All right, I'll stop.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Well, thank you for sharing, man. Like I could tell, like that, you know, and the fact that you first of all, the fact that you only had 10 drops is amazing, and the fact that you can remember and recall that with so much intensity can really, I mean, it shows that you really cared about the game, and I totally, that's something that a lot of people can't really appreciate, because some people, they'll drop that ball and they just go about their day like, oh well,
like it don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
No, this is the city of Philadelphia. You have to earn being here. And just in my mentality, I never wanted to be a reason why we lost. And that's why it really hurt me that game, is because even though there's a lot of plays in the game that there's no one play that loses a game, I felt like that play could have determined the game. And also, that was a legacy play. I catch that ball, that changes a lot of things. You know what I mean? For me personally and for the city, a bunch of things, right? A bunch of storylines have changed.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to be the reason why we lost a game, right? So
you weren't, though.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you never want that. So I would catch, and people don't realize this. For every one ball I caught in a game, I've probably caught 400 or 500 of those in practice. For every one ball I caught in a game, like I lived on the jug machine, like lived on it. You know, they had my stuff set up before, like on the other side of everybody else, like, y'all go ahead over here. Y'all just playing around. Jason be out here for another 35, 45 hour until he get ready. And they just had my stuff set up. You know what I mean? I would let everybody else go do their thing. They do their 10-minute, 15-minute thing. I'd be out there.
That's it, man. Work. I like it. I mean, that game, last part I would say about that game, it was a 12-17 game. So it was a close game. It's not like it was a crazy blowout or anything like that. So don't beat yourself up, man. We gotta do a little bit better on all sport. We didn't score like we normally do. The next time we played them, the score was 59-28.
Yeah, right. No, they lucked out that first game. We had Mike out, but it didn't matter. I'll take that one. I remember going back, and I remember getting threatened by Howie too. I forgot about that one.
Oh no, I got to hear this one.
And it wasn't like a threat, but it was a threat. He was like, because he at the next day, he's like, dude, how'd you drop that pass? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. He's like, I'll never see that happen again. I was like, man, you never. He's like, no, I will never see that happen again. I was like, okay.
Don't you? I don't want to get too in there, but don't you hate when someone?
I just took it like he's gonna cut me. What else can you take about it? Like, no, I ain't gonna see that again. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was out there trying to drop them. Like, yeah, hey,
why
man.
did you drop that? Like,
hey man, like, yeah, I'm just going out there. I'm gonna try to drop it. Yeah. I don't want the city of Philadelphia to win the football game. You know what I mean?
So if he hits you with it, do better next time. Just do better. Just do better.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, man. Let's go.
All right, let's go home, man. We just made this show way long.
As always, we always say, we gotta go.
All right,
fast.
this is the Q&A podcast. Again, check us out: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Inside the Birds podcast, YouTube channel, Inside the Birds YouTube channel. Check out their podcast, the Q&A podcast, also the pregame, postgame show. Everyone send your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com. Let's continue this rally, this road, supporting our team to 7-0. They have a real good time, a real good schedule coming up here for to be 9-0, 9-0, to get going a little bit. So also, let's go Phillies, baby. Let's go Phillies. Q, you got the last word.
Yeah, man, I agree. It's been a great time. We always say, like I was saying, we got to go fast. We got to go fast. And we get to talking and reminiscing, man. It's always fun. And I'm glad that I'm able to share these moments with you and with everyone at home. So appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Happy Halloween to everybody out there. Enjoy yourself. I know the Mikell family loves some Halloween. Enjoy yourself.
Yes, sir.